Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty serious show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, this story today that we're covering is actually something that I've been following, but not very closely until today, as a matter of fact. Now, some of you may not be aware of who Liz Cambage is, but Liz Cambage, at least that's the name I'm seeing here, is a WNBA player, right? And she's quite known on social media. You've seen her attend various games, so a lot of people know her, right? Well, there was an incident surrounding her a few years ago. What am I referring to? Well, apparently in 2021, they were playing basketball somewhere. They were playing basketball, and during that game, it was some type of international competition. So during that game, I believe the team she was representing at the time was Australia, and the team that they were playing against was the Nigerian women's team. So they're playing in this game, and apparently all we heard was that there was an altercation and she threw out some racial slurs at the Nigerian player, racial profanities at some of the Nigerian players. Then about a day or two ago, I saw an image from Bleacher Report addressing this very same thing, talking about Liz Cambage, talking about her interest in being a part of the Nigerians team, and the players called her out like, bro, stop the cap and all of these different things. I'm going to get a little bit into that a little bit later. So today I was doing some research, and I actually came across an article on fadeawayworld.net, but it's via Clutch Points. Now, apparently, this article was actually revealing the footage that was actually released recently by Clutch Points. Now, we're not going to play the footage because we don't want to play any violence on the channel, but essentially, I'll explain to you what happens. It's about a minute and 16 second video. Essentially, what happened was this: Australia was playing against Nigeria, and Liz Cambage is a center, is a very big woman. So she's boxing out, and basically she was doing a bunch of Dwight Howard moves, like flailing his elbows, throwing his elbows in the air. So throughout the video, she was boxing out one player, and then she she elbowed the player in the face, but acted like as if she didn't know what she did. That's what Draymond Green does. That's why I'm surprised that so many players don't mess him up. But anyway, she did that and acted like she didn't know what was happening. Now, I think the reason she did that, and I think the reason that people do that to other people, is because they must believe they're soft. I've seen it happen. Like, you do something, you hit somebody, but act like you didn't know what you did, but you know what you did, wanting to see whether or not that person is going to retaliate. So she does that to the first player. They're chirping. Then the video fast forwards, and then she does it to another girl, but this girl is a little bit bigger than the former girl in terms of her size. So she has the size to kind of match up with her, with Liz. So in this video, they zoom in and you see her slap the girl across the face. Like, not even smack her right across the face. And Liz starts walking off because she knows what she did. A typical sucker move. That's what suckers do. Until they meet somebody that's going to, put their goon down on them, then they'll stop. So what happens? She does that and she starts walking away, because usually when people do this, they do it thinking that the person that they did it to is soft. Similar to what Marcus Morris Senior's younger brother, Markieff Morris, did to Nikola Jokic. He hit him and he elbowed him in his ribs, and he thought it was a wrap. And son hit him so hard he forgot what he gave him whiplash, and he was out of there. And then Marcus Morris and them try to talk that gully talk to them Serbians and found out it isn't what they thought it was going to be. And they just cut that off quickly. So the girl is holding her face. She's holding her face. Then she now collects herself. She sees Liz standing there, and she just charges her. And right as she turns her head, she clocks her right across the face, and she falls into the bleachers. At that point, I was like, okay, I support this message. So that's what happens, right? That's what happened. Then Clutch Points put up a comment of Liz responding, and this was published on August 10th, responding to the footage that we want to show you guys right now. So her statement was this. Elizabeth Cambage said, in light of the circulating footage from the 2021 scrimmage between the Opals and the Tigers, I want to provide clarity on my altercation of the event. Before the scrimmage, I had expressed concerns to Opal staff about the unacceptable playing conditions within the COVID bubble they were imposing. The circulating video portrays a highly physical game with no officiating, resulting in me being attacked and sustaining a concussion. Contrary to false claims, I did not use racial slurs or refer to anyone as a monkey, which is evident from the footage. To set the record straight, I never stated that I had officially joined the Nigerian team. Instead, I expressed my interest in joining the team and representing Nigeria. I had discussions with the staff about the necessary steps to become eligible and thought I was doing them. I extend my best wishes to all the players under the Tigers. My dedication to fostering positive change in the sport I love remains unwavering. I have always taken pride in representing the game throughout my career. I kindly urge the media and fans to fact check before publishing and avoid spreading unverified claims. I also send all the wishes to the former team. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So she said all that crap, right? She said all that crap. And she said that she was circulating portrays a physical game with no officiating. I did not throw out any racial slurs, and she was basically saying that she was being assaulted. That's what suckers do. That's the same thing Draymond Green does. Draymond Green will kick somebody in their private part, smack him across the face, and act like he doesn't know what's going on. That's what suckers do. They'll do it, but then when it comes time to own the fact that they did it, all of a sudden they don't know what happened. They don't know where all of this anger is coming from. So that's what she said. And then I came across this article from Fade Away, which then basically explains what the Nigerian players had to say in response to her. So I want to read what they said. Cambage can be clearly seen elbowing a Nigerian player and after some seconds slapping her in the face. The video refers to the same incident where she allegedly called Nigerian players monkeys and asked them to return to their country. The shocking twist is the fact that the victim ran towards Cambage and threw a wild punch. No Australian player shockingly intervened in the fight, because they didn't want none of that smoke, and let Cambage pay the consequences of her actions. Cambage was called out by Nigerian players for denying using racial slurs against them. The 31-year-old Australian star recently gave an interview with Bleacher Report's Taylor Rooks. During the interview, Cambage denied all the accusations against her. However, Nigerian player Promise Amukamara and Sarah Ogoke called her out for lying. She called us monkeys and told us to go back to her country. Yes, she said that. She said, while her teammate Ogoke said, just open your mouth and be talking wow. Now lie, I beg. We are not recruiting you, and you definitely spewed racist profanities against us during the scrimmage. So that's what was said. That's the backstory. You guys heard it all. Here are my thoughts on this, and I'm not going to take too long on this. My thoughts on this are very simple. First of all, I'm glad that she got what she got on that court. Period. You're going to be doing all of that slick talking and cheap shotting. To me, it's unbelievable. You cheap shot people. You going around messing with them, and you're shocked when somebody messes back with you. It's unreal to me. Like, what did you think, unless you thought everybody was soft? So you did that thinking, oh, they're all soft, they're not going to do anything, and then you found out. That's my first thought on that. The second thought, and it's something I want to touch on quickly. There's an idiot running around the internet. He's a black dude. I don't know where he's from because nobody knows who this dude is. He's just some stupid dude on the internet with his head cocked talking trash. Nobody knows who this dude is, right? But there's this dude on the internet, and basically we produce some LeBron videos, and he disagrees with my views, right? He disagrees with my views. So at first, this sucker would now, disagree with my videos. And then he took it to the next level. He's like, well, since I'm a sucker, I can't control my energy. I'm soft in reality. So what I'm going to do is, since we're on the internet, I'm going to talk greasy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now start making racial comments about me. First of all, I was born in the United States, first generation American, to West African parents. My mother's from Sierra Leone. My dad is from Nigerian, making me a Nigerian. If you feel like that's supposed to make me feel like I'm supposed to be ashamed of who I am, then you picked the wrong you know what. Just because you have no personal agency and you have no self-respect for who you are, don't feel like you're going to do that to somebody else. That's number one. I'm very proud of who I am. Damn proud of who I am. That's number one. Number two, this dude took it upon himself, because I said I live in Nigeria, which is something I never lied about. He's acting like he's exposing some story that I told you, you dodo. I told you that. You would not have known now unless you stalking me. But you work with the FBI, the CIA. How else would you know? So I said this, and he's like, oh, he's living in Nigerian huts and all of this type of crazy, you know what, right? Some broke, decrepit fool on the internet telling me this. And it started saying all of these crazy stuff about Nigerians, and, you know, Nigerians probably living in a hut and all of this stuff with the lions and all of this stuff, right? All of this greasy talk. Now, can I talk like that back? Can I say crazy stuff like that? Well, of course. I grew up in the Bronx, New York, son. Like, I grew up in the Bronx. You don't grow up being soft. So I can't do that. But I understand that we're building a brand here, and I'm not going to jeopardize the brand to respond to some lowlife. I'm not going to do that, number one. Number two, I noticed that there were a lot of people in the comments cheering him on instead of correcting him. And it's creating this kind of weird kind of thing where I'm guessing, because to me, it's unbelievable to see a black person insulting another black person, period. No matter if you're from Africa, no matter if you're from America, that level of ignorance and self-hate, you will never see me engage in. If I see an African person saying some crazy stuff about African Americans, I won't tolerate it. I don't want to be around that type of conversation, because I grew up with African American. I don't want to be a part of that stupidity. I don't want to. I don't want to be annexed to it. I don't want to have a conversation about it. I don't want to know your point of view. I don't want to know what you heard growing up. I don't care to know it. That level of stupidity, you cannot involve me. And vice versa. If there are any African Americans doing that to Africans, you're not my ally. You're not my friend. I don't want to know you. I'm not interested in knowing you. That level of ignorance, I will not harbor. Don't need to know you. Don't care to know you. Don't care anything about you. If you're disrespecting the black race in either direction, I have nothing for you. You can do nothing for me. You're a waste of my time. I don't need you in my life. I don't need to know these people. That's number one. Number two, this stupidity and ignorance has to stop. At a certain point, the stupidity and the ignorance has to stop. There's a lot of information being disseminated all throughout the internet by morons and idiots. Shannon Sharp, help me understand. Am I missing something? Where's Shannon Sharp from? Listen to Shannon Sharp's last name, Sharp. Go throughout any country in Africa. Where will you hear the name Sharp? You will not hear it. That was probably a slave master's name. But Shannon Sharp, I heard, did his ancestry and found out he's 90% Nigerian. And Shannon Sharp is from the South. Oh, let me guess. They lied to him. They lied, right? To reinforce your stupidity. So they lied to him. They made it up. The ancestry, it's a hoax. Those camps in West Africa and Ghana, that didn't really happen. Somebody made that up. And to have this clown saying that, oh, now you're going back to, you don't realize you're insulting yourself. That's the stupidity of all of it. That is, and I can never engage in that level of self-hate and ignorance on both sides. If you're an African doing that to African Americans, you're not, don't consider you, me and you, we're not vibing. And if you're an African American doing that to Africa, you will never vibe with me. So if that's the type of person you are, please unsubscribe from this channel. We do not harbor hate. We don't create hate groups for any group on this channel. If that's what you love to do, go piss off in the corner, go join that guy's channel, and you guys spew your profanities and show your ignorance for the world to see. We don't do that here. That girl, Liz, got what she had coming to her. And she's lucky, because some girls would have did her worse. I don't know what she thought.